I recently announced that I am writing another cookbook, and it will be out in the summer of 2026. And I've been getting a lot of questions about why it takes that long for a cookbook to come out. So I thought I would answer them here in my limited cookbook author experience. But my first cookbook, same thing. I think I got the deal in June of 2020, I guess, and then the book came out in February of 2022. So roughly 2 years, a year and a half, whatever. So theoretically, that 2 years would be when the cookbook author is creating, developing, testing recipes. In my case, just because it's the way I am, I actually started working on my next cookbook as soon as I published this cookbook, basically. So I could, at this point, hand my editor all 100 plus recipes, all developed, tested, written up head notes. I even take my own photos, which will not be used in the final book, but they're super helpful for the photographer that ultimately gets hired to see my vision of what each recipe looks like. It's also helpful for me to organize the recipes into chapters and what should go after what, just visually seeing how everything looks. It's like my own little Pinterest board. So why does it take 2 years from the time you get a book deal until your cookbook comes out? Not all cookbooks, but a reputable publisher, you're looking at about 2 years. So here's how my timeline went this time. I approached my agent and told him that I was ready to write another cookbook. This cookbook has, good sales to support a second cookbook. So he thought that publishers would be interested. So we put together my proposal. In this case, because my current publisher, HarperCollins, had first right of refusal, we did not do an auction. So for my first book, I had like a speed round of interviews with 4, 5, 6 different publishers all in one day, explaining why this book, why me, why the world needed this book, basically pitching my book. Then the offers come in and you choose one. So that's what happened for the first book. I chose HarperCollins. I did get a couple offers, which was crazy. So there was a bit of a bidding war. Super exciting. But for this book, we had to pitch first right of refusal to HarperCollins. They made me a good offer, so I took it. So I have my offer, unofficial offer, June. Then the contract gets put together. So I met with my editing team, met the new editor because they have changed some staff there, and met everybody. We all decided it was good to go. And I just got the draft of the contract actually yesterday, I think, or the day before. So once that's signed, I'll send that back, and then basically the clock starts. So I have until the end of November to turn in 10 recipes. We're calling them sample recipes, probably like 2 from each chapter, something like that. I have to get those in by November. That's really so they can start working on the formatting of the book, making any comments about the way I'm writing the recipes. So I won't write 100 recipes and then decide that they're not the way they want them written. But since I've worked with them before, I know their style guides and all that. Okay, so that's November. So then February, I have to turn in my entire manuscript, all the recipes, all the head notes, everything. Then they go into edits. I'll start getting edits back, but then in April and May, we're going to do the photo shoot. So that'll be the recipes. That'll also be lifestyle photos. So that's April and May. After that, then we go to cover design and format design. So at this point, they've got the whole manuscript, they've got all the photos, and the design team starts putting them together into the book form. We also do cover designs, decide what the cover is going to look like, the fonts, the colors, that whole deal. So then after that, we're probably to next August or September or so. We have final edits. I get to see the whole book all laid out. After everything's approved, it gets into the queue for printing, hopefully by November, December-ish. At that point, it will get listed on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, start really promoting it. And then it comes back from the printer, hopefully, by like May-ish or June at the latest. So we have review copies. We can send them out to media, to influencers, to friends and family. I can send my mom a copy, see the book myself. And then it comes out in July. So that is the 2-year timeline, and it seems like it's forever. But trust me, it like there are deadlines, and sometimes it gets really it's a lot to meet them. So the 2 years is going to go by really fast. I promise you, I will share details more when I have them. In the meantime, you can buy my first book. I use it, as you can see. I do cook from my own book. And I'm just so excited to dive into this process again. Like I said, I've kind of finished my part. I have to clean up the recipes. I have to write better head notes, but I've got the skeletons, I guess the bare bones of the book already laid out. And then I did turn on the table of contents, so I'm waiting for my editors to get back to me. And then we'll have probably like monthly meetings with the whole production team to make sure we're all on the same page and things are moving along. And I just love this whole process. And I hope you're as excited about my next cookbook as I am. And thank you to everybody who has bought my first cookbook, because the sales of this cookbook are what enabled me to get a second cookbook deal. So I could not be more grateful. So thank you. And I'll put the link down below to buy this book if you don't already have it.